Hello and welcome to Toby's Blogs. Welcome to part 2 of this video on looking at Tudor monarchs. So let's go back in time once more and look at the Tudor monarchs. So Henry VIII is now dead, and his child Edward VI now takes the throne. Now he is underaged, he's not matured to full adulthood, and so he is looked after by his two uncles, who are the Seymour brothers, so Jane Seymour's brothers, and they manipulated and they took over as the leaders and reigned as regent for the prince. They pushed towards the end of Henry VIII's life. He changed to Protestantism, and he in Henry VIII's life he was always touring between himself. Is he Catholic or is he Protestant? Catholic, Protestant, and towards the end he made sure that Edward was Protestant. And so all the way through Edward's reign, Protestantism was pushed. Lots of policies came in and lots of things came in that made everything Protestant. So by the end of Edward's reign, all Protestant. And that's how it happened, and that's things. Over the time, arguments between power. I think both of the Seymour brothers were executed. But although Henry VIII strived to have a son, his son was very sickly, and his son died in 1553, quite young I think, and that was it. But now the problem is now that the whole country was now Protestant, and that they spent a lot of time trying to make it Protestant. So they didn't want Mary, who was the next in line, to take the throne, because she's Catholic through and through. Oh, we can't have that, can we? So Edward manipulated it that his cousin Jane Grey would take the throne, and she took the throne. She was in the line of succession, and Mary did not like this. She did not like being cut out of the line of succession. She did not like this woman taking over her throne, and I don't think the people liked it either. They wanted a true monarch, someone who was descended from Henry VIII. They wanted someone, a true monarch. Of course, Lady Jane Grey, she did have royal connections, because she was a royal, because she was the king's, Edward's cousin. So she was royal, and she did have royal blood, but she wasn't in the proper line of succession. So she reigned for 9 days. In this time, Mary gathered lots of followers, gathered lots of people. She marched into London and had Jane arrested, and her head was cut off. Which is a bit of a shame, really, because she was so young and everything, and she didn't really ask for this, really. It was just thrown upon her, and it's a pity. She died. And the tyrant, that is Bloody Mary, or Mary I, takes the throne. And the one thing people didn't like about Mary, for a start, is that she married the enemy. She married Philip of Spain, who was another nasty character, and he wanted full power of the throne. He thought, if I marry a queen, I get full power and I get to rule England. Of course, that wasn't the case, because Mary said, nope, I'm not having a man rule me, I'm the ruler here, you're not going to mind my throne. And so she put it into law that the queen, if she marries a man, is always in the power, so she's always got the power, and she's always the queen, and the other person's a prince. That's still going on today. Elizabeth II, our queen now, her husband can't become king, but it can work the other way around, that the king who's on the throne can have a queen. That works that way around, but not the other way around. Anyway, so that's a key of power. And she was a strong Catholic. Now the entire country now has been quite drilled into them, Protestant, Protestant, Protestant. And then Mary comes along and just changes the whole thing. Catholicism, you need to follow Catholicism. And if you didn't, you had your head cut off or you got burnt at the stake. And it was just a horrible mayhem. She killed thousands and thousands and thousands of Protestants and other things. She just hated them because she said Catholicism was the true faith, and the true faith had to be recognised. And everyone who didn't believe in Catholicism and who wasn't a Catholic was a traitor and a heretic, and so had to be killed. And this was very nasty and very horrible. Mary struggled in her life. She wanted a child and she never got one. She had these stillbirths, and Philip of Spain hardly ever visited her, and she didn't have a very nice life. She just took it out and killed lots of Protestants, very, very religious to the core. And Elizabeth the First was also known to be quite a Protestant, believe in the Protestant faith, like her mother. Anne Boleyn was very Protestant. And so the Protestants then needed a figurehead for their rebellion, and this was Elizabeth. And so she was called into the Tower of London. She was taken to the Tower of London a few times and found for treason, but Mary could never kill her, as she was her sister. And so the Mary died eventually, wasn't very long. She died in 1558, where then Elizabeth I took over the throne. Now, Elizabeth was absolutely fantastic. She used to be, until the recent queen, one of the longest reigning monarchs, along with Victoria and other monarchs as well, and George the Third, and all these other things. So she was had a quite long reign. Very, and she had lots of things going on in her life. She had to contend with her reign. Most notably the Spanish Armada. That Philip wasn't happy that he didn't get any power or didn't get anything. He tried to marry himself. He proposed to Elizabeth I to try and get his foot in England again, but no, she would not have it. And this is where the Spanish Armada comes from, that the Spanish Philip driving his Catholicism, hating the Protestants, and driving to try and rid the world of Protestantism and take the throne again. So a huge armada held back with fire ships and all these other things. Yeah, so that was a Spanish Armada, big thing. But then that showed her power, her unity. She unified everyone, saying, we fight as British people and not as Catholics or Protestants. We fight as one against the Spanish. And that's really good. That's really good. I like that. Also another thing in her reign was the Mary Queen of Scots thing. Okay, so this goes down to the religious thing again. The Catholics and the Protestants. They've just had a very, 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 very Catholic monarch, very Catholic monarch, Mary I, who actually killed a hell of a lot of people just because they're a Protestant. And so we now have a Protestant queen, and Elizabeth's not as bad as Mary, but she might kill the odd Catholic here and there. The Catholics, they want a Catholic queen on the throne. They want a Catholic queen. They don't want this Protestant woman who thinks a heretic. And so they rally to Mary Queen of Scots. Mary Queen of Scots is related to one of the kings further up the tree. Go and look at the family tree of the monarchs and you'll see that they are connected at some point. And Mary Queen of Scots was seen as a figurehead for the Catholic rebellion against the monarch. And Elizabeth knew this, and it was always, and she wanted Mary to go, no, she loved her cousin, Mary Queen of Scots, but she didn't. But then there was all this stuff, this rebellion, things that she was linked to, or to kill Elizabeth. Also, the Pope also said that if anyone kills Elizabeth, you won't be condemned in hell, you'll be praised. And so people started trying to kill Elizabeth and all these other things. So the Catholic threat was quite bad. And it then came across that Mary Queen of Scots was then she signed a death warrant for them to go and kill Elizabeth, and that's when she was arrested and taken into custody. Before that, Mary Queen of Scots had married a lord who was a cousin of Elizabeth I, and he had royal blood from England, and so she had a child with him, uniting her claim to the throne and his claim to the throne, together uniting in a stronger claim to the throne in her son, James I. Mary Queen of Scots fled Scotland into England for the protection of Elizabeth, who then arrested her. Said, get rid of her, she's on our soil now, arrest her, lock her away, she can't do any harm there. But then this warrant was signed that put her in the forefront of the rebellion, that she signed this and she wanted Elizabeth to die, and so her head had to be cut off. And Elizabeth was always touring with this, I cannot kill an anointed queen, I can't kill an anointed queen, my soul's going to be damned if I kill this queen, I can't do it. And then her advisors say, do it, you got to do it, do it. And she was like, no, I can't do it. And then she was advised, she just did it, and she signed it and just left it on the table. And then her advisors just took it and then went off to kill her. And when she was executed, Elizabeth went absolutely mad. She's like, I did order this! Who did this? I did not order this! What's happening? I did not say she had to die. And she's denying everything and saying, no, I didn't say that. How dare you rescue her? I didn't even say anything. And she went absolutely crazy. And said, oh, that had left that. And she didn't know she signed it. She thought she claims that she thought she was signing something else, and she didn't realise it was that. Well, obviously she did sign it. But then she's like, oh no, she died. Total denial. She didn't mean to do it. And then she always felt bad about that for the rest of her life. And her reign is seen as the golden years, the golden ages, because it was such a lovely reign. It was long. Elizabeth was a very nice person, Protestant, and people loved her, and she rallied everyone together, and she was always she was married to England thing. That's the kind of thing she said, I was married to England, I'm not going to take a husband because I'm married to England, I'm married to this country. And so she never had heir. And so the woman that she killed and always toiled with for the rest of her life, her son Benji took the throne. And that was James I, uniting Scotland and England together in one country. And that's where we have the Stuarts. So that's the end of our video on the English monarchs, the Tudor monarchs, and the Tudor dynasty. We have started off very well, with lots of money and good starting point. Henry VII was very good starting point, very good monarch, starting point for the dynasty. Henry VIII, though, who was not meant to be king really, his brother was, spent lavishly. By the time his reign was finished, he had hardly any money at all. But he did have a son and two daughters, and Edward, very Protestant, but Henry VIII did cause a massive ripple in the Christianity, splitting the two. I'm hopping from Protestant to Catholic, Edward, Protestant, Mary, very, very Catholic, Elizabeth, Protestant. So he did cause, Elizabeth also did lots of things, uniting the country, all these other things, and all these laws and stuff that everyone put in. But it was like the Tudor dynasty caused a ripple that will affect history to come later on. This split between Catholicism and Protestantism. And there'll even be wars about it. So that's it, the Tudor Monarchs. I did this one in A-level and GCSE. It's been drilled into my head for so many years, and so I thought I'd do a video for you. Anything else you want me to talk about in my historical videos, things that you're doing in A-level and GCSE, just give me a message and I'll try and do a video on them to help you out. So thank you very much for watching my historical videos, and hope you tune in soon for another historical video. Let's go, another historical video about going back in time. Thank you very much.